Okay, so welcome to IAT 461 and 882. It's a joint grad and undergrad course. You might be surprised, but this is not a data visualization course. That's all I've been teaching until now. But this time we're doing a data science for human-centered systems course that Marek Atala was teaching. And in case you haven't heard, just yesterday or 2 days ago, the university told us there's no Canvas, so we're going to have to be dealing with that. However, as a lot of you have taken courses with me, we do a lot of the things on GitHub and our own websites. We do treat this course just like the Viz course as like a coding course with generally open source portfolio coding behaviors. So that makes it much easier for us. So you're going to be expect to do a lot of your work on GitHub. Most assignments are coding assignments. Though they will be on GitHub. The things that are writing based, you can put them on GitHub. We're going to send you instructions on how to do that. We don't have the instructions yet, just because we're working on it. Soon you will see how we're going to deal with submitting assignments, and I don't know how we're going to give you grades, honestly, in the next couple of weeks. But the next few weeks, you don't have assignments, so no grades for now. But yeah, introductions aside, so this course is Data Science Method for Systems Where People Matter. This is what we're looking at it. The whole idea of the course is based on stuff I got from Marek, his previous rendition of the course, but I heavily changed it, especially the later parts of the course, and you'll see why. Today, you'll meet the teaching team, we'll get to know each other, we'll talk a little bit about what is data science in this course. We're going to talk about our learning objectives, prereqs. We're going to talk about how the lectures, labs, etc. are going to happen. We're going to talk broadly about what we're going to have, assignments, quizzes, project, etc. What you can expect is that the format of the class will highly resemble the visual analytics course that I teach. However, this is more coding. So there's going to be more heavily sort of Python based, data science based courses and assignments based on the material. There's going to be a midterm, etc. We'll talk about time expectations and readings. So a bit about us, for those of you who don't know me. My name is Ali Reza. This is how I look now. As you can see, it's the same picture. I'm bald, but I was not always bald. I had hair. I'm testing the drawing capabilities of my new slide system. There you go. I used to look like this when I was a metalhead. Perfect. And so, yeah, I'm an immigrant from Iran. Before becoming an HCI researcher, I studied urban planning and design there. Then I moved to Chicago, studied urban planning, worked as a planner for a little bit, then moved to Charlotte, North Carolina in the US, and studied computational design. So the first sort of program that I went to was architecture and computer science. And then I did my PhD in human computer interaction, computer science with a focus on human computer interaction. Then I was a researcher at Northwestern University between departments of computer science and psychology. Then I worked at a design firm called IDEO for a little bit, and now, as you can see, I'm at SFU in Canada. A bit more personal things about me. I like music a lot. I listen to music a lot. This is a picture of me trying to perform my sort of new music. Can you guess? Can you see from the image what one of my favorite bands is? Just to test whether you guys pay attention. Type in chat. People who, yes, there you go. Perfect. Nine Inch Nails. I'll wear the t-shirt sometimes in this course. I'm learning how to produce music. I play video games a lot. Extra great for anyone who guesses what I'm playing these days. I watch anime, read manga a lot. I watch a lot of movies. And I think about politics and social issues a lot, as most Iranians have to do. And I think at the current stage of the world, most people, I believe, should think about politics and social issues because the world be like that. A lot of my work is at the center intersection of data science and visualizations. Essentially, what I studied in my PhD was called visual analytics, where we build applications that use a lot of machine learning, data crunching, data pipelines, databases to create interfaces to understand phenomena, right? So I built a tool called Urban Activity Explorer that relied on social media data, highlighting where people are talking about what. I built a tool that did a lot of natural language processing and visualization to help people identify misinformation sources and their behaviors. But later I started looking at just more psychology of how people think and reason with data. So I built models, I conduct experiments on how people reason. And I've written these two books. One of them basically social media in the contemporary city. If you're interested, I can share the manuscript with you. Has basically looks at how social media impacts the way we live in cities, but we do a lot of data analytics. We look at it mostly through the lens of different types of data. We do image analysis, we do network analysis, we do text analysis, and we study how, and sometimes we interview people and we share that in this book. A newer book that I published is called Architecture in the Age of Human Computer Interaction. It's this one is more on the people who are interested in creating smart buildings or buildings that allow people to live through technology, right? So the core idea of this book is that buildings can become interfaces that we can interact with. And to do this, architects need to have a perspective that is different from generic architects. They need to adopt our perspective, the HCI, the human-centered thinkers of the world, right? Which they do not. So that's the type of things that this. So this one looks at VR and how people interact and a lot of the work that we did. I'm gonna let Mehdi talk about himself.
Yeah, I speak from my own microphone, yeah?
No, actually, you can speak from your
Yeah, okay.
hands.
So, hello everyone. This is Mehdi. You can also call me Matthew. Some of you already know me. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a master's student here. I'm also from Iran and I studied computer engineering at University of Tehran, where besides all of the scientific stuff, I was vice chair of ACM Student Society. And I was really interested in software world. I did my thesis on software verification, but soon I realized that computers alone are too dull. So I began exploring different parts. I was active as a marketing and media specialist, and then a backend developer, then product manager, and I've actually done tons of event organizing as a oh, what was the word? I forgot. That's the second language speaker. As a volunteer, yeah.
Yes,
Volunteer event organizer, yeah. So here I am currently. I think the next one is my research, yeah? Can you please
yeah.
return it? Yeah. So right now, I focus on understanding how people make decisions about their mental health using AI tools, using generative AI tools. And on the side, when I'm not busy with university, I make a podcast. Can you go to the next one, please? Yeah. I make a podcast which some of you can listen because it's in Farsi, and the rest of you who don't know Farsi, unfortunately, you cannot listen to it. But here I talk about depression and anxiety. And thank you so much. Unfortunately, I don't know your name because you're 001, but thank you so much, man.
You should have
Much
done a double o seven
appreciated.
at least. What is
Yeah,
double
double
zero
of
zero?
seven.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, here we are, and I hope we all learn. Yeah, we all learn here about data science. Thanks.
Cool. Thanks, Maddie. All right, here we go. We do, as we used to do, a lot of our communications, just communicating about course stuff. What we do is slide lectures, course questions, technical questions on Discord. So Maddie's gonna send a link for y'all to join. Just as a clarification, Discord is just a way for us to chat. We're not going to discuss grades or any sort of private information. This is just for us to communicate in terms of learning and what we do and share some resources and stuff. We're gonna rely on other things that the university gives us for more official communications. The announcement I'm gonna send through this whole of group. And as we go, we're gonna figure out what we're gonna do. But please join Discord. Perfect. Everyone's joining. There's about how many in class right now? Okay. Okay. It's there's not too many of us, so why don't we just go in circles? Actually, you know what? Just type in Discord because I don't wanna I'm gonna read some of the stuff and you guys can see each other because again I just want to make sure that we are just say your first name, introduce yourself, your interests, why you're doing data science, and then we can move forward. We're going to take a few minutes. It's also for us to test how Discord works. Hey. Okay, so the first person is Rad, who's a big fan of soccer and really excited for the World Cup. Me too. Which team are you supporting? Brazil. Okay, Brazil. Can you guess which team I support? It's not Iran. That'll be a bad guess. Okay. People are saying Portugal. Yes, I support Argentina. That's the type of person I am. You can hate me or whatever. Okay. We have Atif, a first-year thesis-based MSc, working with Dr. Sylvain, a computational neuroscience, and the interests are lifestyle factors, specific training interventions to improve cognition. Undergrad in computer engineering at UBC, and the VR industry about 5 years. That's awesome. Yep, I'm a messy person. Latif is Germany fan. I'm also volunteering at the FIFA World Cup. Perfect. Okay. Jaina is interested in data visualization. That's why I joined this class. I expect to learn a lot from this class. You learn less about data visualization in this class. Have you taken the visual analytics course? I hope you have. But if not, there are videos. Yes, the class last semester. Minahil, master thesis, working with Dr. Halil Orhan, background in computer science, interested in user-centered systems, accessibility, and ACI. Tim is interested in educational technology, is an undergrad at Seattle and hopes to learn data science application towards educational processes. Perfect. Alan, master's student with Bernard. Most work is mixed reality experience and games. Background is in design and architecture. Interest in data visualization and storytelling. Beautiful. What else? We got a good diverse. Yeah, so you talked to them shop, and then you said we should have to take your class Monday. So here I am. Perfect. Yeah, that course, at least the lectures, is on YouTube, and this course will be. This is my philosophy. I'm an open source kind of person. Everything is already there, and hopefully we're gonna have the same sort of type of fun. Carmen, master thesis student interested in VR interactions and movies and TV shows. Carrie or Carmen, what's your favorite movie and what's your favorite TV show? Thanks, Tim. I remember you from last semester. Thanks for your kind words. Cohen is a fourth year CIAT student, currently working as a game developer. I'm very interested in all things game making and all things progress virtual worlds and immersion. Likes to work on technical side, and my main areas is voxels. Cool. Mehdi, undergrad student, loves video game, music, and concerts. I've stumbled upon Mehdi in one of the concerts that I've been to because I go to all of them concerts. So I know that Mehdi shows up too. Slither? Oh, no, his name is not Slither. Jason, video games, making music. I'm also really into anything technology related. I'm currently an undergrad yet. Hopefully, I'll end up doing something related to those. Marcus, learning about UX and ACI. Learn more about quantifying user interaction, and they like volleyball and food. Perfect. Okay, so Carrie's favorite movie is The Handmaiden. It's a pretty good movie. Not the best movie from that director, I would say. And TV show is Supernatural. Johan, side questing, and he is an Ali Reza OG in his first 355 class. Yes, in real person. Perfect. Welcome back. I'm gonna try to run some classes in person again, maybe the next fall. I think I'm gonna teach the creative coding class next semester. What we do? Maria, it's anything related to sports. I love to play golf and go for runs. Perfect. I wouldn't say golf is my favorite sport, to each their own, but also like I'm trying to do more running. Zoe, I had fun in 355. My background is animal biological sciences, but here I am anyways, and I also love classic rock. Okay, what's your favorite classic rock band? Tim, I don't know I really don't know the course numbers in CED, and I refuse to learn them. My first aim in life is to change the culture here so that we can actually use proper names instead of codes. But one of those courses. But yes, Led Zeppelin. Perfect. I love Led Zeppelin. Okay. Tashif, major in CS and minor in CAT, interest in ACI and software dev. Cool. Pretty much aligned with the course. Ryan, fourth year CAT, interest lean towards AI and visual analytics. Ryan, you're going to learn a lot of more on AI in this course, and I believe a lot of you might have taken Nilay's course. There's a good deal of shared knowledge you can use. Perfect. So maybe I'll come to you and see what y'all did for that course. But I'm not thinking about it right now. I'm in such a discourse production sort of mode that. Okay, do we have all? Did I miss anyone? Zoe, animal biological sciences. Yeah, we did that. Very cool that we have a very diverse group. As always, we have a sort of a third of the class that are gamers, which is sort of fits the CET culture. Did you all want to guess what game I'm playing this year, this sort of past month or two before we move forward? It's not a triple A game, that's a hint. Anyone? I want to see who's my favorite student that knows the game that I'm playing. What's that? What's E33? See, I don't even know what that game is. How did you guess that, Tim? Tim is the GOAT. I'm playing Slay the Spire too. Oh yeah, Slay the Spire too. I've been obsessed with it, like spending a lot of time. It's a deck building game. It's a really good game. It's been amazing. So yeah. Okay, perfect. Yeah, and yes, not Candy Crush for sure. I'm not playing Candy Crush. I had this phase where I was trying to test all the ads, like all the games that Instagram was trying to sell me. So one of them was like Capybara Go. I tried it. Man, these games are really bad. There's these core interesting ideas in them, but like they are depressing. What's telling lies? Is a game? There are a lot of games I want to play. You know what game? There's a new game on PS5 that I want to play, and then I'm gonna stop nerding out because it's unfair to the non-gamers of this room. Maybe like the animal biological sciences person doesn't want to hear about games, but whatever. There's a game called, I don't remember. It's from the creators of Returnal, which is a really good game, and I want to play that. Okay, so let's do a bit of an intro on what is data science the way I want to talk about it. So it's about insight, not just algorithms. We use data to answer questions and make sense of behavior and context. The idea of data science builds on statistics, but a lot of data science is not just about the methods to infer something from the numbers, but it's also about how to deal with the data, how to deal with the messiness of the data, how to make sense of things that we might not have an easy statistical way to do. So not always a tidy procedure. Another thing that we're interested in is that design and data is intertwined in many cases, right? Especially when we build human-centered systems. In gaming, in most part of the world, you can have a data-driven perspective. What we measure depends on what we build and how people encounter it. And we can ask questions about that. A lot of real world data is indirect. So we can't always run experiments. A lot of times we have logs, we have traces, we have comments. These are not sort of experiments, right? And we learn a little bit on how to deal with that. So in this course, we're going to learn to work with many different data types. We've learned about this in the visualization course, but here we're going to talk about how we deal with structured and unstructured data, quantitative versus categorical data. We're going to learn different modeling goals such as prediction, classification, and regression. There is a human-centered framing throughout the course, as you'll see. But in general, the way I see this, and I think I'd like you to think about it in this way, is that data science is about asking questions from data. What type of questions you might ask? Data science is just not just about the algorithms and big data. It is a toolkit for understanding and asking questions from data, usually about human behavior and finding insights. So over the next 13-ish weeks, we'll find answers to 5 core question types. So the first type is about a type of data scientist that's an observer, right? So what would we, first of all, can you tell me what type of data is being visualized here? If anyone, I'm not asking things that you haven't learned, but do you know what this image is telling us? What this is, this chart, this chart. It is temporal data, and I believe based on this, and this is the number of players that are playing Slay the Spire 2. Why do you think, can anyone make a guess, why do you think there are these peaks and then these drops in this data? Because one thing that we can do is we can basically visualize activities, right? What is the AU? Yeah, it's related to cycles. You're getting there. Oh, daily active users. I think this is daily active users. But what are these peaks? Why do you think these peaks and drops happen? Thanks. Anyone? The drops and peaks in the data. Yeah, so it is true. So it's plotted against time to let us see when users were more active. But I want you to think about just why do you think there might be these really repeating patterns where there is just a peak and then there's a drop and just happens just recurrently? Any guesses? No? I think the answer is much simpler than you're all trying to think about. Could be. So that Hasrat is getting there. Popular times, maybe after dinner. But this is a long period of time. So I don't think we're looking at that fine grain of a time. So I would say if this is 2nd of May, 4th of May, 6th of May. So I think my hypothesis that we can, exactly, Zoe. The answer is weekend. I think the peaks are over Sundays probably where more people are not working. Yep. I think weekends is the answer. And what else can we learn? Why do you think this happened? This drop in total player counts. Loss of interest, but is it loss of interest? That's a good hypothesis. What else do you think that could be? Mehdi is, I think Mehdi is right. The game came out and a lot of people were playing it, and then people are finishing the game. And some people let go, and then some people keep playing it. I think that's the case. We can't know for sure, right? But I think that's a hypothesis that I developed about this. And we can test that. Okay? So the observer data scientist is about what we can see in patterns of how people Slate aspire to over time, or other games, or other types of logs and activities. Tim, if the spikes look like it's daily, which is another pattern that you might be looking at, then it could be after dinner. You're right. It could be a specific time that's popular. I think it's probably, we can actually, let's actually open Steam charts and investigate. Why not? Slate Aspire 2. Okay, so this is Tuesday. This is Wednesday. So you're right. The peak is daily. And this is what time? 8, 7 p.m. It's after work. People come in. This is for the people who work or something, come in for work and start playing this game. There you go. That might be the case. How about, let's see, around this time? Is it? So I think people were just mad playing the game here and then became more rhythmic. That's interesting. Let's look at another game. Let's look at Counter-Strike 2. Sunday, Saturday, Friday. So yeah, this is based on time. Wednesday, perfect. That's exactly the type of inquiry that you want to get from this type of exploring the data. So this is observing the data, plotting it, understanding something from it, finding the peaks, looking at correlations depending on the type of data, and making sense of it, right? This is still the very basic of our question. So what do we do here? The observer is about what can I see in the data and what hunches does it give me? My hunch was that it's about the week because I thought it's in weekends, but Tim's hunch was no, this doesn't feel like a weekly chart, it looks like daily. There you go. And then we develop a hypothesis and then we have to go test it and maybe look at actual, like maybe the time zones are impacting because the chart is global. Maybe the time zone is impacting the people. Like maybe there's more North American people that play at this time. I don't know. So there could be other explanations for this. But what hunches does it give me about human behavior? And we learn to observe data in this course. Some of the concepts that we'll cover is exploratory data analysis, data wrangling and data cleaning, imputations, distributions, looking at the type of distributions. Methods that we'll learn is vectorization, indexing, filtering, visual storytelling. This is the beginning of almost every data science toolkit. You want to explore the data, you want to do exploratory data analysis. To do this, we're going to use Python, pandas, data frames, NumPy arrays, and visualization libraries such as Seaborn or Vega Lite version, which is, my brain is blanking. There's a Python Vega Lite version that's called, can you tell me? Altair. It's called Altair, yeah. So we do the first few weeks is about that. So we're going to cover some math, some concepts, some basic ideas on these aspects. Essentially, we're going to learn how to deal with data. And that is a very important part of the data science toolkit. The second type of data scientist is the scientist, the way I would like to call it, right? Okay. Another version of my YouTube. Can can you all think about what types of questions we might ask from this that are about human behavior? We want to see, do people actually do this right now? We can ask scientific questions about humans here and maybe tell people, oh, this is absolutely the reason why something is happening. Any thoughts based on this image? I have a hint here. And then we could help YouTubers by giving them, hey, this is the way you would design your YouTube things. Any thoughts? Yeah, Tim. The person has similar interest to what is displayed on their homepage. That is an actually, so what you're saying, the personal interest is another type of data science, which we're going to talk about. But the thumbnails, length of titles, and views, the types of correlation. Yes, a question that I would ask is, and that's related to the thumbnails, is does including faces in thumbnails increase view counts? So how would you ask that question? YouTube actually has that embedded. You can test thumbnails, right? That is the type of scientific inquiry. You randomly assign something. You say, I have a hypothesis, and you use the scientific method to run it, and then you look at significance and you think about effect sizes, and then you come up with conclusions with a certain level of certainty about something. Oh, if you include faces in your thumbnails, people are more likely to click on it. That doesn't mean there are not other factors, but that is one thing that you can scientifically learn, right? So what would the types of questions a scientist is that like for is that what would a psychologist want to ask from how people use YouTube videos? How would that help YouTubers, right? That's the type of scientific questions that we ask. Here we're going to talk about how can I ask good questions? What can I infer from this data? Inference is a really important verb here. And can I be sure my answers are good and trustworthy? Can I be certain about my answers? I don't want to make wrong suggestions to people. I don't want to say, oh, scientifically, this is what you need to do, but then there's another reason for views, right? So here we're going to learn a little bit about null hypothesis. Again, there's quant methods course. We're going to mostly deal about how to run these in Python, but we're going to cover a little bit of this, statistical significance, explanatory modeling. Some of the methods here are linear regression, t-test. We'll learn about p-values, alpha thresholds. Here we're going to use statsmodels API, SciPy stats, and scikit-learn. The timeline is wrong. This will take a couple of weeks for us to cover. Okay, now we're looking at the predictor. Yeah, the p equals 0.006 is a good example. So this is my prime videos. What types of questions does the predictor data scientist ask? Color theme? Can you elaborate? Other thoughts? Yeah, that's a good question. What is the next show movie that the person is going to watch, click on next? What genres does the person like? Will people pick the larger show banner over others? So now, will people pick the larger show banner over others? If you're like comparing, you can test it. These are very similar types of questions, but the type of question that you can think about in terms of being predicted is that can you build a model that can predict if a person is watching, I'm watching Vox Machina right now, what would be other shows that I would be interested in? How would you make that a guess? It's not really scientific, it's a guess. If you're really good at it, then your guesses are going to be good. Can we predict what is next video that someone will watch and suggest it to them? That's another interesting question, Mustafa. Does adding additional labels, new movies, attract users for new or interesting content? Absolutely. Okay, so based on the predictor is based on past data or existing data, what is likely to happen next? This is a simplification. This part, these names I just came up with to be cute, right? So really, these don't pay too much attention to the predictors. I'm trying to be dramatic with teaching data science and not boring. So we learn about supervised machine learning, right? So how can you learn from existing data to deal with unseen data? And we deal with classification and regression. Here, we're going to learn about logistic regression, random forest, and then how to understand whether a machine learning model is doing good. So we're going to talk about confusion matrices, precision, recall, F1 score. This is the part where it probably has some overlap with the AI course. Scikit-learn, scikit-learn metrics. There's a lot of scikit-learn here. It's going to be, again, timeline is probably wrong. I'm working on a timeline, but around the middle of the course, we're going to be doing this. Okay, what would be the Explorer do? Let me, can I zoom in? Yes. Here's a tweet. What kind of questions can we ask from Twitter tweets that people post about AI, for example? Any thoughts? So how much does the hook effect retweet comment count feels like the scientist type of question? What topics related to AI is the person interested in? Could be an explorer, but let me reframe it. Imagine we have 500,000 tweets that mention the word AI. What can we learn from that? Okay, sentiment. Yes, we can understand. Okay, what are the general sentiments around AI, right? So we are using something, predictive modeling or something, to make some assessment about this general corpus. But what else can we do? Can look what topics related to AI are people interested in. But another way to think about it is what different types of conversations are happening around AI. What types of doomer kind of conversation, which ones are scientific, which ones are about art, what types of we can explore, we can look at patterns in behavior. This is exploratory. This is not exploratory data analysis. You're looking at massive data. You're going to use methods, but you're going to find patterns that with your eyes you cannot deal with. You cannot read all 500,000 tweets. You're going to have to, you cannot really visualize all 500,000 tweets. There is not a good method to do that. But you can find patterns based on some methods. Say, okay, these are how these tweets group to each other. These are the patterns that I can find. So the question would be, what different attitudes can we observe on Twitter conversations around AI? Or on comments on Steam? What are the different types of negative things that people say about Slay This Spire? Okay? That is the type of exploration. This is not about predicting, this is about understanding patterns in large amounts of data. So that's the explorer. So this is about unsupervised machine learning, the geometry of behavior. How can we look at patterns? And this is about dimensionality reduction. This is about semantics. How similar are two texts to each other. So we'll learn about k-means clustering, methods like principal component analysis or t-SNE. We're going to learn about other different types of clustering methods. But here we're going to also learn about modeling these different topics and everything. So you can, again, you're going to use scikit-learn, and we're going to use other methods to deal with this. The last part that I want to call the interpreter deals with a hint that I have in this page. This is the hardest hint, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this, right? But here's a hint question. What would you want to do as a moderator on Twitch chat that is really quick to go? Any thoughts? No thoughts? That's something. No, I'm trying to think about something very simple. Maybe you want to see, okay, who can we find a way to figure out which texts are abusive? It's a classification task, right? Abusive or not, toxic or not, right? So it could be machine learning. But what else can we do? This part, which is some sort of something that I'm introducing into this course, is what are these large language models going to help us do? These huge models that we've already trained on all the data, right? Whether can we build an AI agent without any existing training data to read Twitch messages and flag them if they are using abusive messages, or maybe even ban them, do an action on it, or maybe message the moderator, hey, this person is being toxic. Can we build that? So this idea is that what are people trying to say? How can we use data science to deal with that? How do we understand their meaning? Or how do we understand meanings in images? How do we act upon it? So in this area, we're going to learn about these modern natural language processing techniques, large language models. How do we use these LLMs to do stuff, embeddings, prompt engineering for data science. So there's a lot of LLM related concepts here. Here we're going to use another library that deals with text mostly and images. Hugging Face transformers. We're going to learn how to use BERT topic. We're going to deal with some LLM APIs. And at the end also going to touch on these interactive machine learning applications called Streamlit. We're going to learn essentially how agents work and then apply it to a data science. Because I think agents is data being very clever with large language models. Some of you might know these terms, but throughout these class, we're going to learn about these things. Okay, so this was a sort of overview in terms of these very cute, my boomer type of approach to being cute with data science. But overall, the other way to think about it is that we're going to carry basically the analytic process end to end for human-centered systems. You're going to learn intuition and terminology. In my visualization course, I mentioned this, right? A lot of you might be like, oh, but AI can do this for us. You're probably right. But I think, and a lot of experts think, that the thing that makes you the expert to orchestrate a lot of is knowing how things should be done, to know the terminologies for data and evaluation. So how do you ask these types of questions? Then you can ask AI to do it for you. Not in this class. Hopefully you do some coding in this class. But you can have the intuition of what to ask from AI. Instead of saying, hey, AI, can you tell me what people are doing in this 10,000 tweets? You can have a clever model and ask AI, oh, can you build for me this cosine similarity app that I can find papers that are related to my input text? That'll be the way you can guide your future vibe coding things. And to me, this is the key for the current job market, honestly. Knowing the intuition, being experts in doing things, and then using AI to make yourself really fast. This is the key here, in my opinion. In general, we want to understand types of data and what can go wrong with them when analyzing each. We got to learn how to choose techniques deliberately when they fit. I talked about a lot of different techniques. We're going to practice cleaning features, doing feature engineering, modeling, interpreting. We're going to apply core models of regression, clustering, different tree-based models, and then Gen AI and learn about natural language processing and topic modeling. Mostly we're going to use Python. So you might have some prior ML stats exposure. That would be really good. We're going to slow down, we're not just going to do how, we're going to think about it. Visualization, I think 355 is a prereq for this course, so probably all of you have taken it, I hope, or if not, I don't know how things work at SFU still. So you want to be able to visualize and communicate and storytell with data, and visualization becomes a big core of it. And then you want to start knowing how to deal with Python and Notebook. I expect that you do know some programming. We're going to share a lot of resources with you. We're here to help you for people who have less programming expertise. Okay? However, this is our toolkit, and we're not going to teach the basics of Python. We're going to share some basic resources for you to catch up, and we're going to answer your questions if you have questions. There's going to be reading, so you want to read before class, take notes, test yourself. A lot of you know how I deal with things. In lectures, we're going to talk about concepts, connections, motivation. So you should come prepared to ask questions. In labs, we're going to do hands-on practice, Both me and Mehdi, we're going to run your lab. In the syllabus that I'm going to show you, which will be uploaded, you're going to see a list of days and time. Try to read before class. Assessment may include class quizzes. I don't know how to run quizzes now, so we might axe the whole quiz thing. Assignments will stay. We're going to do assignments for sure. They're going to be submitted through GitHub. There's definitely going to be final projects, and there's going to be a midterm exam. And we'll keep you updated on these course policies because of the changes. The course is on Zoom, so you're expected to show up on Mondays. Like last year, so at the end of this class, we're going to discuss what we're going to do on Tuesdays. I'm going to do Mondays, that's going to be the lab. Anyone who's taken 355 knows. Monday, we're going to do more hands-on stuff. Tuesdays is going to be the lectures. I really hope that all of you show up. I'm not going to mandate it, the lectures, but I really hope that all of you show up because it's fun. I'm going to try to make it fun. And then we will post the videos on both days on YouTube for anyone who doesn't show up to see. We expect that you watch the posted videos and show up to lectures. Come on time, leave space for questions. Don't disrespect each other or disrespect us. Just be cordial. And the website, I'm going to tell you what the AI policy is. The grading is based on assignments, lab participation, midterm, final project. I'm going to, again, show you on the website. The assignments are, we have about 4 big assignments and then 1 final project. The assignments are about these different types of things that we talked about, and they're larger. They mirror the data science pipeline. So we're not going to talk about how to just run cells blindly. We're going to come up with understanding how to ask questions, strategizing data science, analyzing, and coming up with what's next. For the project, you will do the full pipeline. Grad students will do this individually. Undergrads, I'm going to be hearing y'all's thoughts. I'm here inclined to do individual projects, but at most we're going to do groups of 2. Let me think about it, but either one. But tell me what you think is better for coding. Because this is not like the visualization class, I want all of you to learn the concepts. I don't want to have a project dynamic where someone does just data cleaning, someone does modeling. I want everyone to do everything. Again, AI policy will be repeated. Lecture will take 4 hours a week-ish. Readings 1 to 3 hours per week. Homework exploration 5 to 7 hours per week. Track your hours, adjust early if you're underwater. Let us know what questions you have. Again, you know me, I'm pretty responsive. We're open to issues that y'all might have, but communicate with us. Don't come at the end of the semester or 1 minute before the assignment submission and tell me, oh, I'm behind. I'm going to still listen to you, but please just communicate early on so we can solve your problems. We're here to help you learn. That's why this course, that's why we exist, because you could learn most of these things on YouTube. Here, we're here to help you. We're here to work with each other as groups of people, as humans, okay? That's the reason for us to do things. Tim, I'm going to talk about the Tuesday lectures. You have a book. The chapters that you got to read will be posted on the website probably by tomorrow, but it's called the Data Science Design Manual. It's free to access. It's a PDF. You can get it. You have to, most of the course is based on that, at least the first half of the course. Our website will show required readings. Gaps between chapters is normal. Okay. So that's the sort of introduction. If you go to datadialog.vercel.app, you can just click on this IAT 461882 data science. You can read this. Please do read this. The suggested topics are here. Soon, this will be populated. Videos will come here for you to be able to see. Slides, I have changed the way I do slides Slides are online now. So if you click on links that are under slides, you'll come to what I'm using to present. This is just online, and you can just do things for yourself. Readings will be added here. Assignments will be here, and again, people who have taken the course will see. Because there's no Canvas, we're going to rely on emails and this website more heavily. All assignments will be hosted on GitHub. We're going to share code with you on GitHub. You're going to submit your assignments on GitHub. So your projects will live on GitHub. Okay? And that's it. This is just a suggested schedule for us based on what I talked about. Again, we're going to, in the next few days, finish it up and shit. But, okay, what's next? Let's talk about Mondays and Tuesdays. So Mondays, can you create a question? Is everyone on Discord? Here's the thing. I'd rather the Monday lectures to be on 5:30 instead of 6:30. The university keeps giving me 6:30. I don't know why, but I'd prefer for it to be 5:30. As long as people don't object to it, we can move it if we all agree to each other. So I'm gonna maybe let's make a Google form to ask several questions on timing, and we're gonna come to a final decision. For now, do 6:30. Next week is a holiday, so there's not gonna be a Monday. Tuesday lectures, 5:30 or 6:30, either one. That's what's gonna happen. Because next week there's no Monday, I'm gonna post the lecture for next week, I believe asynchronously or something, or either me or Mehdi will do it. Tomorrow, because I did the lecture today, tomorrow we're gonna have a lab. The lab is going to be on installing all the tools that you want to do. So you're just going to come on, we're going to set up all the things. So we're going to get prepared for doing the work together with Mehdi and I. Okay? No, only this week, Monday was the lecture, because I always do the first day a lecture, but Mondays is lab. We're going to do hands-on. Tuesdays is lecture. Monday is mandatory. The working stuff is mandatory. The lectures is highly suggested. I would beg of you to come. I'm not going to mandate it, okay? But I'll post the videos on YouTube anyways. Okay? But this week, because of scheduling things, tomorrow there's going to be a lab so that we can just get up, because next week there's a holiday. So tomorrow y'all going to come hopefully to the, yes, Monday is lab, 6:30, and Tuesday is lecture suggested at 5:30, exactly. But tomorrow, please come. We're going to post a video on the things that we work on. Okay? And we're just going to install Anaconda. You're going to run Jupyter. You're going to figure out how to run Python code. We might do a little bit of a Python intro, test some pandas, just get things up and running for us to be ready to hit the ground running from next week. Because next week there's no Monday, there's no lab. Tuesday will be the lecture, and we're gonna figure out, all of us, we're gonna find sort of a time that we can do lab, or we're just gonna have to skip it. I don't know. But all of these questions, we're gonna email you on a Google form. There's no Canvas, so we're just gonna have to deal with the Stone Ages types of questions. No, the date for midterm is not confirmed yet. I am 80% sure that the midterm exam is going to be take home, unless I change my mind. I reserve the right to change my mind, at least for the first couple of weeks, because of how things have changed. But yes, there's going to be midterm. I don't take final exams. I don't like final exams, but the project will be very extensive on data science pipeline. You're going to have to explain things in written format, and here's a new thing for people who've taken my classes. We don't have a final exam, but we will have a one-on-one scheduled conversation, just a conversation with the students close to the end of class, just so we know you've picked up some of the topics. I don't want, if I see, okay, your grades are all great, your projects are amazing, but you don't even know what scikit-learn is, it means everything you've done has been AI. That's not going to be fun. Okay? The conversation is just for us to see, oh, do you understand? Do you have the intuition? Do you know the terminology? Do you know what tools should be used for what? It's not going to be an exam. I'm going to allow you to do some live search there, just like a programmer, but we're just going to have a conversation. That is it. And the conversation, you'll see how it will go. I'll send you the policy on that. It's the first time I'm teaching the data science course, but here's what I think. I'm going to, in terms of what it will do, you will pick a data set, you will run a whole data science process on it, right? You will ask a question, identify a question, not like the visualization course. You're not just visualizing a data, you're running models, you're building machine learning, you're doing natural language processing, you're cleaning data. So you have to do all of that, okay? For the final project, we're going to, I think all of us, use a tool called Streamlit, which you can go explore. Streamlit is a Python library that allows you to build interactive applications in Python. It's really cool. It's really awesome. It's all sorts of, you can run like all sorts of things in it. I can show you what I've built with it, but you can basically build these types of applications that React, but you can run scikit-learn and you can make machine learning. So I think your final project will involve some sort of application building, but we'll see. We're gonna have and Mustafa, you was in my class, we're gonna have a proposal stage as well. What else? As you might all know, I'm just generally not, I really just want everyone to learn, okay? So bear with me. Just work with me. As long as I know you've learned, we good. Okay? That's all. I don't want to test you. I don't want to do the, oh, what is what is the confusion matrix do, or what is precision and recall. We're going to have a conversation around it. We're going to all be cordial. You're here to learn. I'm here to teach you. This is how we're going to be working together. But we're going to do a lot of coding. The assignments are going to show me whether you do things. The conversation is going to show me, oh, have you done any work on this? Or have you been doing just a lot of AI copy and pasting? Lastly, you're gonna look at the AI tool here. Is different from last year. Stin. Oh yes, we're here to learn. Again, I'm here to have a genuine, sort of honest conversation with you. I don't believe in just a lot of, I don't believe in a philosophy that a teacher's role is to fill brains that are like jars with the liquid of knowledge. I don't believe in that. I don't think that's a good way to teach. I try to not teach in days. Sometimes I have to, but I try to. I just want to prepare y'all to just start becoming experts on these types of concepts that are important. And I know that the world is changing, and I know everyone is stressed. So a lot of my courses is to help, at least with my best understanding, is how is to enable you to deal with sort of a technological world. So enable you to take advantage of all these technologies with ways that not everyone can. Because I believe with the expertise that you gain here, you can do all sorts of things. You can build a new startup for yourself with some data idea. You can do anything. You can do a lot of cool things. I want you all to do cool things, build interfaces, but have expertise to do cool things and have the expertise to ask important, good questions and be creative. That's my hope. But I know some of you might not want that, so I don't know. I'm not here to waste anyone's time. I hope this makes sense. Any other questions? Thank you. So far, I've enjoyed. Y'all have responded to my questions in terms of sort of interactions. And also, I really like the way you're asking these questions. So here, Mehdi will take care of the form. Please respond by tonight so we know. But should we try on Discord? Can you send sort of a question on Discord saying, "Oh, is 5:30 tomorrow good for the lab?" Just come up with a thumbs up. As long as 80% of you are there, I'll be there. Mehdi will be there. We're just gonna, tomorrow is chill. We're just gonna set up some stuff. Yeah. Can you come? Yeah. Okay. All right. We good? I think the lab is gonna be an hour and a half tomorrow, 2 hours. But labs in general are gonna be from 6:30 to 8:30. Yes, Mehdi, please send it. We're gonna send the Discord link as a sort of a send to all, what you may call it, this announcement group, whatever. I forgot all of my words. Everything, yes. Labs will be posted on the website. We're gonna give you codes on GitHub, videos on GitHub, videos on YouTube, and everything will be. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing. I'm gonna stop recording.